Hi everyone, welcome back to the Cloudy Desk. I know it's been a little while since I recorded. I took last week off because it's been so rainy and dark here. It's been really hard to find good conditions to record in, but also the motivation, because when it's dark I just want to get cozy, and I'm letting that happen without stressing out too much about it. So today we're going to be looking at how I am using my work notebook, and this is going to be distinct from my planner, which I will hopefully have. My planner has been shipped. My planner for 2024 has been shipped, and I'm just waiting for it to arrive. It should arrive sometime in the week before Christmas, which is great because I have that week following Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's, off, so I can use that time to set up and get everything ready for January, at which point maybe I can give you all a little peek into my setup. But today, like the title says, like we can sort of see here, I'm going to be looking at sort of how I'm setting up my note-taking for next year. Just as a little context, I work in higher ed. I'm a librarian at one college, but then I also teach classes at a different college. So I sort of have to balance two sets of academic calendars, two sets of deadlines, things like that. And I also, as someone in higher ed, I do a lot of my own research, and I have deadlines for when I need to turn in articles, when I have presentations I have to give, when conferences are that I'm traveling to. So I have found in this past year that there's just been a lot of moving pieces, and I've been trying to find better ways of tracking all my various projects, all my various due dates. Up until now, I've been really extensively just using like my Outlook calendar, but then also my Google Calendar, because one institution, again, since they have two institutions, one doesn't talk to my main work calendar, so like trying to make sure that all my calendars are accurate. And then I've also been using tools like Miro for project management, and there's just been too many digital places I have to check for details. So in the next semester and year, I really want to find analog solutions to all this, a place where I can sort of write down everything in one spot. This year, up until now, so I use this Hobonichi cover on cover, which I really love. But I know I like the green. I like that it's kind of subtle. And I have two notebooks, two of the sort of Midori A5 slim notebooks stuck in here. This one I use for my teaching notes and things for the one institution. This one on the left I use for everything else. So my work notes, but also I help edit a journal. If I have meetings with sort of external groups, those notes all go here. But then some stuff for my sort of main day job, I actually don't use this for. So I have found I have too many things in too many different places, and stuff's getting lost. And then like meetings with some external groups that's like for my classes are in here, but then I'm looking for them in this side. It's become a mess. So next year, starting in January, I'm switching to one of the plain Hobonichi notebooks, and rather than having two separate ones, I'll be using this sort of similarly, where I'll have one section here that'll be sort of my main job, and sort of other external projects that I work on, like the journal I help edit, things like that. And then I've noted, since these notebooks come with 4 different sets of grid colors, I sort of split it in half, and so the first 2 can be for that, and that gives me a lot of space. And then I have used a page marker to mark the second 2 sections, and I'll use that for my teaching notes and everything pertaining to that second institution that I work at. Because even though it seems like my job and all these external things would be a lot more notes than just my one secondary job, but actually I take the most notes for my class, because I have to take notes for what I want to talk to them about, but also notes for what they all say and what we're working on. So it really does need half of the notebook. So I'm going to be switching to this. I realize it's not that different going from 2 slim to sort of one notebook that's divided in 2, but I think it'll just be easier for me personally to have it all technically in one place. So once my grades are in for the semester, I'm going to be switching these 2 notebooks out and then putting this one in. But the real thing I wanted to show you today is I have inserted here at the end one of the Hobonichi A5 Memo Notes book things, like the slim 2-packs that you can get, because I am using this specifically. I'm using this specifically to track all of my projects as distinct from all of my notes, which will be in the notebook section. So I'm just going to take this out and let you see. So I have, instead of using sort of 2 sets of calendars plus sort of various project managing software, I am putting all of my big dates in here. I've essentially written in a Gantt chart, sort of 2 months per page. So this is January, this is February, and then I have each month going forward: March, April, May, June, July, August. I've only written in through August because I want to see if it works for me for this semester and then the summer between academic years before I write in all the other pages, but I have noted the spaces for September, October, November, December before it switches to another section. And essentially I have lines for each institution that I work at, so I'm able to post, like, so the place where I teach, classes start on the 16th, but I know at the place that I work more, classes start on the 24th. So it's again one of those things that they're on slightly different calendars, and this way I can just like quickly see sort of what's happening when. Really nicely, they have the same spring break this year. So those 2 line up, but otherwise the end of the semester also doesn't. Sort of everything's due at different times. So I have a line for each institution. I have a line for one of the big projects I'm working on. I'm editing a special issue of a journal, so I have all of the due dates there. I have a line for conferences, which right now is kind of blank, but I actually know that I do have something I can write in. One sec, let me double check the dates. Okay, so I know, for example, it's just been confirmed that from March 16th to 24th, I have work that's going to be part of a schedule. So what I do, and you can actually kind of see here, is each row has 2 rows of 2 rows of the grid. I use the bottom grid to show the span, and I use the top row of the grid to write the label. So I know that this is data through design, and I'll be doing a project for that conference. And so once I talk to my collaborator and we set our internal dates, I can put those in. Yeah, so I have my conferences here. I had initially added another thing, but I realized I didn't actually need it, so I have a blank that I can fill in. And then I have my main personal research project, which is a data quilt that I'm working on, so I have dates of things I need to know, and then I have some MISC dates that are miscellaneous dates that I know are things that I will personally want to be aware of as I'm making my plans. Like, for example, I know I'm going to the Philly Pen Show in January, so I put that in so that way I know not to plan to do work on any of my other projects that weekend because I will be out of town. Yeah, things like that. Also just sort of other events, like things that are happening around that I know I want to attend, or sort of going there. As you can see, as the year goes on, I have less written in because right now I'm really focused on figuring out how I want to use January before the semester starts to get all of my work done, because I have to write a syllabus and build it in the course management system. But I also want to use sort of this quieter time to get ahead on some of my research projects. So I'm putting in things, and I've been using these transparent color dot stickers I got on Jet Pins. I can't quite remember the brand name, but they're like washi paper stickers. They're sort of semi-translucent. I've been using those to denote important dates that I really want to stand out, like things that I know are due. So like, I know this is the first day of class, so I want to post my syllabus a week before. I know that there's a due date for something I want to apply for that's due the 19th, things like that. So I have those called out. And I've also drawn in columns for the weekends, so that way that can help me see quickly like, oh, this has to happen on a Monday, so I should think about that the week before. And I'm sort of planning on using this once I have my planner every week to like come here and check, so that way I can make a longer term plan here, but then in my planner write the stuff that I actually want to do each day to work towards this. That way I don't like write in all these plans in my planner and then as dates shift I have to like edit it. I have sort of this place here. Additionally, because I have all this space at the top, I have sort of written out a goals section here that just I can write in the individual things that like I want to get done that month. So like writing my syllabus, writing the application, making the slides for my class, whereas February I know I'm going to be doing a lot of editing, so that's my goal. Yeah, so I have that space throughout, but sort of in conjunction to this like Gantt chart style layout, I knew I also needed a way to track individual projects. So this helps me track my due dates, but doesn't actually help me track sort of where I am in each project, which is what this second section for. And again, I'm using these Midori page markers. I have written in a Kanban board. I've actually never said that word out loud, so I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. But that's like another project management tool that I've always done digitally, but I know some folks use actual Post-its like on a wall traditionally as a way of doing it. But like I have sort of divided this page sort of again like sort of spreadsheet style. I have a column for each, sort of this is the project, this is the due date, this is really for tracking my writing specific projects. So this is as I know how long something needs to be here. So this page is sort of about the project, and this page on the right is what stage the project is in. So I have outlined, drafted, edited, turned in. And this way I can sort of write in each project that I have, and I can see very quickly sort of both some of the details. So like I know I have to write this one piece. I know it's an internal deadline, so I've written that I want to have it done by February 5th. I know it should be about 250 words. And so then as I'm writing it, I can refer back here to see sort of where I am. And then once something is outlined, I'll write in here, I'll probably put a check. And once I start drafting it, I can lift this Post-it, move it to sort of the drafting stage. And then once that's happened, I can mark when I've edited something. And then maybe this project I finish first because it's due January 12th, so I can see that that one has been turned in, and then maybe this one will be drafted, and I can very quickly get a sense of sort of where I'm at with all my writing projects. I did use sort of sticky notes for these instead of just writing in sort of these information, because I can then change it, but then also because once a project is completed, because actually turning something in my work doesn't mean it's completed, because I might get it back and have to do edits, so then I might have to go back into this spread. But like once something is totally done, I can take the sticky note for the project and move it to my accomplishments and completed projects. And then I can put this here and be like, yay, I finished this project. And then I can use this row for something new. And this way I'll have a nice way to track all the things I worked on in the year. So if I have to write an annual report at the end of the year or performance review, I can like really quickly see all the things that I have done. Because sometimes I find like earlier, like even like a month ago, I was like, oh, I'm not working on anything right now. I'm really falling behind. I need to do more. And then I was like, oh wait, 2 months ago, I wrote like 4 pieces and submitted them all. So like it's okay that right now things are quieter because I had a really busy time. So this way, when I feel like I'm not doing enough, I'll have a nice page where I can see all the stuff that I've already done, which will be really helpful for me. And these are also from Jet Pens. I found these, the Paperian page markers. They come in a bunch of different colors and styles. I liked this because then I can add a little bit of variation so it's not all the same color, and it'll help me just distinguish things more quickly, and they're small and fit into these grids that I have made. And I can keep those. So this is again my work Hobonichi. I just keep them right here so that way I can always, if I need to add more, I have them. I don't know, what do you all put in these pockets? I have like this tiny pocket. I didn't quite know what to do, but I always like to have a couple band-aids with me. I also have some safety pins and a needle and thread in case I need to. I actually have done that multiple times, needed to fix something when I was at work. I have some alcohol pads, paper clips, and then of course some washi and memo notes and a little sort of origami trash bin if I need it. I got the instructions for that from Serial Nana, did a video, or Serial Nana, I think it's Serial Nana, and so I have all that there. And then in the back I keep these tucked in here, so that way if I need to note more dates in the Gantt chart, I have that. Yeah, so I want to try this. My goal is to try to keep this up through August because, well, a lot of folks I know are really thinking of sort of their Techugaigi and planner plans starting in January. My life really goes on a September to August schedule because of the way the academic year is. So I want to try to keep this up through August, and then over the summer I can assess how this has all been working for me. And if it's good, what's really nice is I have sort of counted out and I have enough pages to sort of replicate this in the second half of the notebook. I have sort of, again, this, I didn't show you this first page of sort of my goals for 2024, sort of page for my goals. And then I counted out all of the Gantt charts I need, so I have all of those. And then I have sort of a page noted for the writing, tracking, a page for the accomplishments, and that's at the end. So it's the perfect number, and this is because I had already been using this notebook for something else, and so I tore out a couple sheets and actually wound up making this sort of exactly the size that I currently think I might need if I want this to be a 2-year project management notebook. Yeah, I was looking at different notebook layouts to try to figure out sort of what would be useful to me in the way I have to work and plan projects, because I sort of have very unique needs of sort of managing a bunch of schedules, managing a bunch of internal deadlines, and managing external deadlines. And I thought this would really help me. And I had been looking at, I think Laconic has a Gantt chart notebook, and that seemed really great. And I was really interested in buying that, but the way it is set up is each month is a full page, and I wasn't gonna have enough things to make that really worth it. Like, I think this, breaking it up into 2 makes a lot more sense for me. And then also by using a plain notebook, I'm able to write in and have this sort of writing tracking in the same place rather than having to have like a separate notebook for this. So I like that because I didn't want, since I already will have like this notebook for my actual notes. So this will have meeting notes, research notes, presentation, like all of the things that I need to like write down as I'm doing work will be in here, and I'll be able to have sort of this with me, and I can have all my deadlines together, but also have it so they're separate. So like, let's say I'm working on an article, I can flip to the page where I have my notes written for it, but I can also at the same time have open sort of like the details, and then as I'm working I can have both sets of reference without having to flip through. Which is why I didn't want to then have this be somewhere separate, because then I'd have to have 3 things out, and that would be too much. And also, like, this past summer I did a lot of writing and I had this digitally, but I think having it analog and forcing myself to write it out will help it ingrain in my head a little bit more, because I've definitely noticed when I take handwritten notes or even things like this, they definitely get into my brain more than just like adding something to a calendar or typing something up. Same with all of this. And I think this will make, I'm hoping, I mean, I know we all hope whenever we start a new journal that this is what's going to solve all my problems and make all of my work so much easier. But right now I really do feel like this will solve a lot of my problems. It won't help me actually do the work, but it'll help create the conditions for me to do the work. Yeah, so this is my project management notebook, which I'm going to be keeping with my work notebook, like I mentioned, in my Hobonichi cover. So it's funny, I've always wanted one of these Hobonichi covers. I don't know why, I'm so drawn to the butterfly pen loop thing, and especially this looks so good with my Yoseka Origin Pro gear. I just love that, and I like the idea of carrying this around, but I don't use Hobonichi planners. I don't need a day per page. That's not how my brain works. That's not how I need to get things done, and just those layouts don't work for me. But thinking about how I could use the Hobonichi notebooks and memo notes together in here, I'm really excited, because this system of having these two separate slim notebooks has been great. Yeah, I could keep this up, but I did want to have it in one space, because also I'm using this insert a lot faster than I'm using this one. So like, for example, this one, I started these at the same time, and this one I am just past the halfway mark. I still have a good number of pages, whereas this one I'm really almost done. I only have like a couple. Now that I'm flipping through, it looks similar, but this is really like, I have like 5 pages left here. In this, I definitely have some more, and that's also taking into account that I'm using like this as my scratch pad. But so I just like the idea of giving each of these maybe a little more space with the Tomoe River paper and how thin it is, and having them together, because then, I don't know, I think it'll be maybe mentally easier, if not in practicality easier, just to have one notebook. But yeah, so I'm not ready to switch over yet. I have to turn in my grades for the class that I was teaching this upcoming week, so I still need this notebook out. And I have a couple meetings this week that I want to put into this notebook. But then I think once I'm actually getting ready for January and starting all my winter projects, I'm going to switch it to this one. But yeah, I'd love to hear, how do you manage projects if you're someone that has a lot of projects like that, either for work or side jobs or whatever? What helps you keep lots of various deadlines at various places together? Does a monthly calendar work for you? I've tried that, and I have just found that having cells like that just didn't give me enough space to write the information that I needed. And then if I had multiple things on one day, I just couldn't quite fit it in. But does that work for you? Is there something else that you've been using that's been like great? Do you have the Laconic notebook and like love it? Because I'm so curious about it and would love to hear someone's experiences with that. But yeah, I'd love, put in the comments, let me know what you think. I did a lot of research. I'm not someone, I wouldn't consider myself to be a bullet journaler, but I did a lot of research into like bullet journal layouts for project management to see if I could find something that made the most sense. And in the end, I think just like using the Gantt chart, sorry, wrong notebook, but just using sort of the combination of Gantt chart and Kanban board worked for me. and making them analog instead of digital just fits with the way my brain works a little bit. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. I'm hoping in the next couple weeks, maybe beginning of January, to have an actual sort of like techokaigi where I can show you my planner as well as sort of this whole setup, and then sort of my personal journaling, what I'm using next year. Additionally, I hope to have an Inkvent wrap-up video sometime that last week of the month, or the year really. But thank you so much, and again, I'm Claudia with the Cloudy Desk. If you've been enjoying the videos, I'd love if you could leave a like or subscribe just so we can hang out more. And yeah, still learning how to end these, but I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much. Bye.